Being in the U.S., one of your biggest controversies was about the topic of.
Yeah.
You support that? You believe that's okay?
Oh, yeah. I do think, yeah.
You believe that older men and women should be able to have young children?
Young children, yes.
You believe that older men and women should be able to have sex with young children? I'm sorry?
Not like with like really young children, because like if you pack something in them, you could probably hurt them. So maybe wait until like the age 12, then. But in terms of like, older people making children, I think that's fine.
That was Amosyee. He thought he was a martyr for free speech, a teenage genius persecuted by an authoritarian government. The world rallied behind him. Amnesty International called him a prisoner of conscience. Harvard invited him to speak. America granted him asylum, but they didn't know what Singapore knew. They didn't see the pattern forming. In the end, the transformation from activist to predator wasn't a fall from grace. It was a reveal.
Alhamdulillah, it is I, Amos, with another episode of Amos fucking E.
Born October 31st, 1998 in Singapore, Amosyee Pang Sang was a former child actor turned blogger who became internationally famous at 16 for criticizing Singapore's founding father Lee Kuan Yew right after his death. What started as a free speech controversy in 2015 ended with a 6-year prison sentence in the United States for child and possession of child porn. He's currently incarcerated in Illinois, where he violated parole within 1 month of release by deliberately breaking the restrictions and publicly stating his intention to reoffend. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. Amos grew up as a child prodigy in Singapore. At age 13, his film Jan won Best Short Film and Best Actor awards.
So why did you ask us together here? Yeah, I was busy playing Halo Reach. What's up? Boys, we got something bad going on. Please elaborate further. Jan, my best friend, she has cancer.
13-year-old Amosyee back to top prizes, Best Actor and Best Short Film.
I think I've proven that low-budget films can be really good. Yeah!
He appeared in director Jack Neo's movie We Not Naughty and seemed destined for success. But according to his own writings, Amos had 0 friends throughout his entire school career at Zonghua Secondary School. He admitted he was not capable of empathy and openly used racist language toward Indian students, calling one the Black President, who literally darkened the mood with her presence. He even joked about wanting a Holocaust to happen to his drama club. The turning point came at age 14 after making his first racist YouTube video. The school forced him to read a teacher-written apology out loud to his entire class. His first YouTube account was deleted. In his own words, "Before that, I was passive, soft-spoken, and enjoyed the supposed goodness of the world. Never again would I be the same." This incident became his radicalization moment. He promised in his blog that he would dedicate his entire career to attacking established structures. And boy, did he deliver. His mother, a mathematics teacher, was described by classmates as overly permissive, allowing him to be homeschooled after his O-levels. This removed his last opportunity for social development. But the enabling went too much deeper than anyone realized at the time. The pattern was forming: a socially isolated teenager with no empathy, a superiority complex, and a burning need for attention. In March 2015, days after Singapore's founding father Lee Kuan Yew died, 16-year-old Amos posted a video titled, "Lee Kuan Yew is finally dead."
Lee Kuan Yew is dead, finally. Why hasn't anyone said, yeah, the guy is dead? Lee Kuan Yew was a horrible person. Because everyone is scared. Everyone is afraid that if they say something like that, they might get into trouble, which, give Lee Kuan Yew credit, that was primarily the impact of his legacy. But I'm not afraid. So if Lee Hsien Loong wishes to sue me, I will oblige to dance with him. Come at me mother.
He compared Lee to Jesus Christ, Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, and Adolf Hitler, calling them all power-hungry and malicious. But he didn't stop there. He created an obscene image depicting Lee Kuan Yew and Margaret Thatcher engaged in intimate relations and posted it to his blog with an explicit URL describing the act. To really drive the point home, he made videos licking and humping the Bible and making crude gestures with a cross. 32 police reports were filed. He was arrested and charged with wounding religious feelings of Christians, violating the Protection from Harassment Act, and obscenity. When he appeared in court on May 7, 2015, he was brought in handcuffed with his legs shackled, wearing a prison t-shirt with "prisoner" emblazoned across the back. This was a 16-year-old kid, mind you. But Amos saw this as his moment. He violated bail multiple times by posting donation requests online. When a judge ordered him to remove posts attacking his father, he flat out refused. He rejected bail entirely because he didn't want to be gagged. The court locked him in a cell with 24-hour cameras and lighting running constantly, designed to completely disorient prisoners and destroy any sense of time. Then came the psychiatric detention. After expressing thoughts, 17-year-old Amos was strapped to a bed in the prison medical facility for a day and a half. His hands and feet were tied. He could only sit up or lie down and found it extremely difficult to urinate and defecate. The treatment actually made his thoughts worse. He was later transferred to Block 7 of the Institute of Mental Health, the remand ward of the criminally insane, surrounded by severely disturbed adult inmates. His mother reported he wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping, and had lost significant weight. He begged to return to regular prison, saying anything was better than the psychiatric ward. And here's where the enabling became obvious. His mother showed up to court wearing a #FreeAmosYee t-shirt and later wrote him an apology letter saying, "Sorry for urging you to be a law-abiding citizen. The laws are doing you more harm than good now." She wasn't lying to help him get better. She was encouraging his self-destruction. On May 13th, 2015, Amos pulled off one of his most manipulative stunts. He posted on Facebook inviting reporters to Pasir Panjang MRT station, claiming he would reveal how his bailer, Vincent Law, had him. Reporters gathered and waited for hours. He never showed. 7 hours later, he admitted, "Vincent Law didn't really me. Haha. It was all a troll. A troll that could only be possible by the inherent stupidity of the media." Vincent Law, the Christian family counselor who had bailed him out and tried to help him, demanded an apology and threatened legal action for defamation. Amos posted what appeared to be genuine remorse. "I am extremely remorseful for the turmoil I have caused Vincent and his family. Praise Jesus, our holy Christ. Please offer me a second chance." 24 hours later, he admitted the apology was also fake. He was never extremely remorseful. Then he dropped a 6,000-word manifesto attacking Vincent Law, claiming emotional abuse to justify his false accusation. This wasn't activism. This was systematic manipulation and attention-seeking at any cost. And here's the kicker. Despite all of this, Amos was convinced and sentenced to 4 weeks in jail, which was backdated, freeing him immediately. Amnesty International designated him a prisoner of conscience. The Western world had found their hero. Meanwhile, back in Singapore, a 49-year-old man named Neo Jim Hua was so outraged by Amos's behavior that he deliberately walked up to him outside the state court in front of the media and slapped him across the face. Then ran away shouting, "Sue me, come and sue me." Neo wanted the world to see Amos being taught a lesson. He got 3 weeks in prison for assault. In December 2016, the day before his mandatory national service reporting date, Amos fled Singapore to the United States. He was detained at Chicago's O'Hare Airport and spent 9 months in immigration detention. During this time, he attended a Muslim studies class where he called Allah a sky wizard and said if a religion is 5,000 years old, it's complete f***ing garbage. He used the word fuck repeatedly in front of the Muslim pastor who had him removed from the class. Amos was placed in solitary confinement for 3 days where he was kicking, screaming, and banging the door yelling, "Let me out." In March 2017, a US immigration judge granted him political asylum, ruling that Singapore's prosecutions amounted to persecution for political opinions. The Board of Immigration Appeals upheld the decision. Amos was free. Human rights activist Melissa Shen, who helped facilitate his asylum, believed she had saved a free speech martyr. In Taiwan, 60 people demonstrated outside Singapore's Strait Office chanting, "Free Amos Yee." In Hong Kong, 50 protesters burned effigies of Singapore's leaders demanding his release. The international community had spoken. She had no idea what was coming. In November 2017, just months after gaining freedom in America, Amos uploaded 3 YouTube videos. Why is alright, don't discriminate and free speech for the He argued that most relationships with giant age differences weren't harmful, and that child porn viewing was a victimless crime. But it got worse. He claimed there's no reason you cannot a baby 1 second after it is born, and used misrepresented studies about infant to justify his arguments. What? But here's the thing, this wasn't new. Reddit users had been spotting content in his posts as early as 2016. The red flags were there, documented, visible. Western supporters either ignored or dismissed it as edgy teenage provocation. Even when he debated popular streamer Destiny specifically about in front of thousands of viewers defending his positions, people looked the other way.
So yeah.
So I'm trying to stay away from whether or not harm is caused, because we're looking at generally justice as a philosophical argument. I mean, if we want to jump into data-driven arguments for whether or not cause a psychological harm, I'm pretty sure that's not an argument that you would come out on top on, just because so many relationships are non-consensual. I think you would agree with that, right?
No, I completely disagree with that. That's complete bullshit, and we can provide evidence that shows that most relationships are abuse, so please show it to me. The evidence actually shows the complete opposite. So
the backlash was immediate and total. Harvard rescinded his speaking invitation. YouTube personality Logic, who had championed Amos and brought him to wider attention, released a video absolutely blasting him. Jeff Holiday distanced himself. Melissa Chen publicly called for his asylum to be revoked, saying his views made her physically ill. She later admitted in an airport lounge apology video that she had deliberately overlooked his obvious flaws for political purposes, to use him as a tool against Singapore.
I have this opinion that we should eliminate age of consent laws for... I feel that if a person below the age of 18 perfectly consents to having sex with an adult, he should be allowed to do it. Many people, upon hearing that, would misrepresent my view and claim that I am promoting being using children. I would never promote violence to anyone. But Harvard, I assume, heard those people, falsely believed them, thought I was a violent person, and so they canceled the event.
YouTube terminated his account in May 2018. His Patreon was shut down. WordPress deleted his blog. Facebook and Twitter banned him. Every supporter went silent. Kenneth Jejeretnam, Kristen Han, the activist groups, the 77 petition signatories, including academics and journalists, all disappeared. Even the New Yorker writer who had proclaimed Amos, exactly the kind of person you would one day want running your country, went completely silent as his words aged like rotten eggs. But Amos didn't stop. He continued uploading videos and social media posts defending, arguing that a child should be able to have sex adult as long as the child consents. He even gave himself a title, pedophile rights activist, wearing it like a badge of honor. In August 2020, he claimed he was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder while in immigration jail. The advocacy wasn't theoretical. From February to June 2019, Amos engaged in communication with a 14-year-old girl in Texas via WhatsApp. Extensive messages were exchanged over the 4-month period. The victim repeatedly stated her age. Amos persistently solicited nude photos from her and sent his own explicit images in return. He groomed this child for months, fully aware of what he was doing. On October 16, 2020, U.S. Marshals arrested him at his Chicago residence. He faced 18 charges. In December 2021, he pleaded guilty to child and possession of child porn as part of a plea deal. 16 other charges were dismissed. He was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison, backdated to his arrest, and placed on the lifetime registry. His name, crime, and home address became publicly searchable forever. On October 7th, 2023, Amos was released on parole, 3 years ahead of schedule. He was sent to a group home in Waukegan, Illinois. The conditions were crystal clear. No internet use, no contact with children, no visits to places where children congregate. 16 days later, on October 23rd, he published a blog post titled Amosyee's Update After 3 Years in American Prison. In it, he wrote, "Imprisoning me for my relationship with this 14-year-old who I never manipulated is ridiculous and unjust. Frankly, if I ever develop another close relationship with someone on the age that I'm attracted to, I'd break the law again and do something with that kid. I consider it an honor to break unjust laws." He didn't just violate parole by accident, he did it deliberately and proudly. He went to the library and used the internet 5 to 10 hours daily, in direct violation of his restrictions. He visited 8 different churches, places filled with children, stating, "Jesus definitely wants my attention and definitely wants me to break the law." He told police and parole officers he supported NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association. He said, "I deliberately chose to get myself arrested again to protest these ridiculous rules towards out of a moral obligation as a pedophile rights activist." 1 month after his release, on November 7th, 2023, Amosyee was rearrested for parole violations. His new mugshots show a completely different person from the skinny teenager who first made headlines. He's now projected for release in November 2025, which should be close by now, with supervision potentially lasting for life. But here's where it gets interesting. Some observers on Reddit have theorized that Amos is deliberately extending his prison time to stay incarcerated until age 40. Why? Singapore's national service conscription limit is 40 years old. If he's released before then and deported, he faces 3 years in prison for desertion plus 2 years of mandatory service plus canning. If he stays in the US prison until age 40, he can never be conscripted. Is he actually playing 4-dimensional chess? Or is it just another example of his compulsive self-destruction? At this point, it's hard to tell. He may remain under US authorities' supervision indefinitely. If deported to Singapore, he faces charges for national desertion, plus extraterritorial child porn offenses that carry double-digit prison sentences and canning with double-digit strokes. Singapore's canning protocol is brutal. Full body weight behind each stroke. Multiple canners swapping out so strength never diminishes. Permanent scarring guaranteed. The teenager who once had Amnesty International support, Harvard's invitation, and America's protection destroyed every opportunity given to him. Singapore had tried to warn the world about who he really was. The Vincent Long hoax should have been the massive red flag everyone needed. Western advocates ignored it all. They saw a free speech martyr. Singapore saw a dangerous, manipulative individual with no sympathy who needed serious mental health intervention and boundaries. And here's the final irony. Back in Singapore, the overwhelming public sentiment is, please keep him. We don't want him back. He sought freedom and spent his entire adult life imprisoned. He claimed persecution and became a predator. He demanded tolerance and showed none. He avoided 2 years of national service and will likely spend 15 plus years in various prisons. This was Amos Yee. What are your thoughts on Amos Yee's story? Do you think the West ignored obvious warning signs? Let me know in the comments below. Also, leave me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this deep dive. See you next time.